Hi friends, welcome to Strange Reality. Today's topic is about Heinrich Himmler, also known as the most evil human in human history. So let's start. Heinrich Himmler was born on October 7, 1900, in Munich, Germany, to a middle-class family. He had a great urge to join the army when he was younger. However, World War I ended shortly after he reached the military age of 18, and the Treaty of Versailles limits on the German army effectively ended his military career. Instead, Himmler shifted his concentration to agriculture and began his studies at the Technical University of Munich. Himmler joined a German nationalist student club at university and began reading racist and nationalistic literature. Due to the interwar political atmosphere, such material was popular with right-wing radical Germans. By the time Himmler obtained his degree in 1922, he was a fanatic nationalist. Himmler joined the Nazi Party in August 1923. Himmler resigned his work and devoted his life to the party after idolizing the party's leader, Adolf Hitler. Himmler marched alongside Hitler, Ernst Röhm, Hermann Göring, and other Nazi leaders in the beer hall putsch on November 9, 1923. Hitler was momentarily imprisoned as a result of the attempted coup, and Himmler found work strengthening his name inside the Nazi Party. He delivered numerous speeches on the German race, the need for German expansion, and the struggle against Germany's adversaries. Hitler appointed Himmler Reichsführer of the Schutzstaffel, SSE, in 1929. The SS served as bodyguards for Hitler and other prominent Nazi leaders at the time. Himmler sought to build an elite group of the Nazi Party as the newly appointed commander of the SS. The SS had 280 members in 1929. Himmler had expanded the SS to 52,000 men by the time the Nazis took power in 1933. Himmler established two new SS functions, internal security and racial purity guardianship. Himmler formed the Sicherheitsdienst, Security Service, or SDE, in 1931 to gather intelligence and monitor Nazi Party opponents, leaders of other political parties, and government officials. In 1934, the SD was designated as Germany's primary political intelligence organization. Himmler merged the SD with the Reichssecurity Main Office, RSHA, 5 years later, in September 1939. Following the Nazi conquest of Poland, Hitler named Himmler Reich Kommissar for the strengthening of the German ethnic stock in 1939. This new position gave Himmler and the SS complete responsibility over German resettlement in seized Poland and, later, the Soviet Union in 1941. Himmler was in complete control of who was German, where ethnic Germans should live, and which communities should be relocated or destroyed to make way for resettled Germans. Himmler's resettlement plan would be carried out with the assistance of the Einsatzgruppen, widely known as the SSE's mobile killing units. The Einsatzgruppen were responsible with initiating and participating in the mass murder of Jews, government officials, Roma, and individuals with disabilities of all ages and genders. With the Soviet Union's invasion, Einsatzgruppen operations spiked. In the Soviet Union, Einsatzgruppen units would follow army groupings after a combat to secure territory. Known as actions, members of the Einsatzgruppen collected up victims and marched them to a killing site with the assistance of the Waffen-SS and collaborating police units. If mass graves had not already been dug, the victims would be compelled to dig their own. In general, all actions followed the same procedure. Victims were stripped of their clothes and possessions before being shot in front of the mass grave. One of the most well-known actions took place at Kiev's Babi Yar ravine, when 33,771 Jews were slaughtered and buried in mass graves. At least 1.5 million Holocaust victims died in all. In the Soviet Union, Himmler's horrors continued. Himmler is most known in World War II history for his role in the establishment of the Nazi concentration camp system and the Holocaust. Himmler opened the Nazis' first concentration camp at an abandoned munitions plant at Dachau in 1933. Concentration camps were initially established to house political prisoners. The first Dachau detainees were communists, social democrats, and other political opponents of the Nazi administration. Hitler was so impressed with Dachau that he gave Himmler permission to set up an extensive network of concentration camps. The Nazi camp system evolved to include thousands of facilities by the conclusion of the war, including concentration camps, forced labor camps, POW camps, transit camps, and killing centers. Himmler tasked General Odilo Globoknik with carrying out Operation Reinhard in 1941. The operation, named for SS General Reinhard Heydrich, was a well-devised scheme to slaughter the Jews of occupied Poland and later the entire European Jewry. Himmler used Operation Reinhard to create 3 extermination camps in Poland: Belzec, Sobibor, and Treblinka. More killing facilities followed. Chelmno, the first camp to test the use of gassing for killing, became a killing place, killing at least 152,000 people. Majdanek was utilized as a death center from time to time, particularly to execute forced Jewish laborers who were too sick to work. In the spring of 1942, Himmler designated Auschwitz-Birkenau as a killing center. Around 1 million Jewish men, women, and children from many European countries died at Auschwitz, which became a symbol for the Holocaust and the Nazi camp system. In these killing centers, the Nazis murdered nearly 2,700,000 Jews, political prisoners, Roma, asocials, homosexuals, and others through asphyxiation with gas or gunfire. Following the unsuccessful assassination attempt on Hitler in July 1944, Himmler attempted to negotiate a separate peace with the Western Allies, while Germany continued to fight the Soviet Union. He also considered using concentration camp inmates as a bargaining chip to start the negotiations. The Allies, on the other hand, could not contemplate dealing with a man as deeply involved in Nazi war crimes as Himmler. Himmler requested that the president of the Swedish Red Cross, Count Folke Bernadotte, forward his surrender offer to the Supreme Commander of the Allied Forces, Dwight D. Eisenhower, in April 1945. When Hitler learned of Himmler's proposition, Himmler attempted to flee the Third Reich by dressing in a secret field police uniform and cutting his mustache while carrying papers belonging to Heinrich Himmler. On May 20, 1945, he was arrested by Russians and handed over to the British, to whom he admitted his identity. Himmler committed suicide 3 days later, on May 23, 1945, by biting on a cyanide capsule placed in his mouth. Meanwhile, all that happened in Soviet Union, there was a lady that spread her terror in German army. She was also known as Death Lady. You can watch my full video on her in suggestion on the left or find it in my channel.